Okay. All right, let's do it. My analysis of dating is somewhat similar to a free market capitalist. This is a very great introduction, like a good entry point into this conversation because it really is. And I've talked about this before. Obviously, there are certainly issues with that mentality right off the bat. I know that a lot of people get upset at me. We're going to have some fucking conversations about human nature throughout this uh, as well, which will really upset people. Um, but let's get started. So, all of the advice is gender neutral, and I'm just using girls as an example because that's my experience, even though I have given the same exact advice to both men and women. Okay? And it applies for same sex relationships. It applies for trans folk. It applies to everyone for the most part. But I will be using girls, so don't get fucking too caught up on that, and then don't like reinforce the this notion that like all women are queens and I'm being a total fucking hypocrite and I'm being super manipulative or whatever. So let's get started. So number one, there's 7 rules that I put up. Okay, these are 7 rules that I talked about, and I'm gonna go over them very quickly. So number one was start talking to as many girls as possible, and this is the most important advice that I can give you guys, uh, especially because um, you know this is a way for you to get better and combat your social anxiety. I think everyone probably has social anxiety, um, no matter how cool or social or extroverted they might seem. A lot of people start off with social anxiety. It's understandable. You don't know what's going on. You're afraid of being rejected, and that's it's totally acceptable and totally reasonable to feel scared at first. But the reason why I'm saying that you should start talking to as many girls as possible is because you'll be able to deal with that anxiety, and you'll most importantly figure out that it's actually not that rejection, that fear of rejection is something that you need to lose. You have nothing to lose but your chains, and in this instance, the chain is the fear of rejection. In order to get over rejection, it's the one thing you have to do. And at first, you're gonna suck at it, and it's gonna be embarrassing. But then you're gonna realize that it's not the end all be all. You're not fucking dying when a girl flat out rejects you. And I talked briefly about how like some girls are fucking brutal, and I get that, and some guys are fucking brutal, and I get that, especially if like those girls and guys are constantly being harassed on a daily basis. Not every social interaction is harassment, but it might start coming across as harassment if, uh, especially if you're just inundated with requests every fucking day. And you have to be mindful of that when you're approaching girls. So they're being approached super often, so you shouldn't be rude or you shouldn't be disrespectful, especially if you do actually not even if, especially when you do get rejected, because you're gonna get fucking rejected a lot. Okay. And by doing all of this, you're going to understand how to talk to human beings in general. And after a while, you're going to get better at it. And that's really important because it's like training. It's like muscle training. You know what I mean? It's no different. Um, the key to talking to girls is trying to get a point of mutual understanding and interest. You're trying to understand what they think, make them understand you a bit, get interested in what they enjoy, show what you're interested in, and confirm that they find you interesting. One of the things that I talked about off of that analysis was that these are like very basic rules, but the best word in the English language is your name that people want to hear. So get them to start talking any way you possibly can, and ultimately they're going to start becoming more comfortable with your existence. And if you guys have similar interests or whatever, you'll be able to get to a point where, oh shit, my fucking TYT ring just broke. Holy fuck, that's crazy. Look at this. I don't even know how that happened. You can't really tell. There's a little crack in the middle of it. Anyway, so that's really important. So now let's move on to number 2, okay? Operate on scarcity dynamics. This is going to be something that triggers a lot of folks, but you can't seem too available. And let me, before even I get into this, the reason why I mentioned scarcity dynamics is because the way we analyze value in other human beings is off of scarcity. The way, if you're too available, the other person, regardless of your social status, will start thinking not less of you, but will start thinking that they are higher on the totem pole, or they're valued at a higher position than you are, whether it be because of their physical characteristics or your physical characteristics, or even your social status, or it could be anything. It could be your personality. It could be a variety of different reasons. So that's why you have to make yourself seem unavailable. And this is the part where people get very triggered. But if you're unobtainable, human beings automatically assume that you are more valuable. And there are ways to do the availability. There's ways to get around availability. Don't look too overzealous. Don't seem too available. And actually get busy. And you get busy by talking to as many girls as possible. And you're not hyper focusing on one girl, because if the stakes are really high, you're afraid of fucking up. You're probably going to say the wrong thing. But if the stakes are low because you're talking to multiple people, then it doesn't matter. Then, you're not afraid of fucking up, and therefore you're probably going to come across more confident. Hasanabi, any evidence to support this, or is it all anecdotal? Jesus Christ. Fucking Destiny fans, dude. It's so hard. Okay. So the fuckboy mode that I engaged here, or fuckboy or fuckgirl mode here, is that you can have your red receipts on. Now, this is a fucking big secret, okay? This is a big, bad secret that I'm telling you, 1,284 people that are in this chat. This is something that you can do to show people that oh shit, I was too busy. I couldn't get back to you in time. I'm so sorry. And it is manipulative, and I totally understand, but it goes off of exactly what I was talking about before as far as scarcity and as far as increasing your value to actually get to a point that is your actual value, okay? And then don't act too excited. If you end up actually going on a date, don't act too excited. Don't go above and beyond. The example that I've used before is a girl that I wanted to take out on a date, and she's a vegetarian, and I wanted to go to a place that offers vegetarian food, but like good vegetarian food. But if I were to go to like a vegan place, for example, I would be trying too hard. Meaning like I'm doing everything. I'm going above and beyond to serve this person, to serve her needs, putting her needs above mine. Now, Hollywood and traditional media shows you that this is like chivalry, and that this traditional dynamic is what should exist. Except if you tried anything that you've seen in a Judd Apatow movie, you would be deemed a fucking total creepazoid, and probably even have a case of harassment and on your hands, and you would probably have what is it? What's the fucking term for it? The legal term? A restriction? Or I can't even think right now. Anyway. Not everyone is so simple, shallow to equate someone's worth to their unavailability. Okay, whoever's saying that is completely incorrect, okay? All right. Restraining order, yes. Okay, number 3, figuring out fun activities that you can do that tie back to your personality and your personal interests. This is important as well. So every move that you're making when you initially meet people is a move that you're making that should be somewhat deliberate, that should show someone where you're at or what you like or a piece of your personality. Don't take someone out just on a fucking expensive date. Because you don't want to put out the idea that your personality is all about how much your net worth is. This is terrible. This will lead to a terrible relationship down the line, because the dynamics are built up originally under false pretenses. A lot of people end up going to like very expensive restaurants, for example. I refuse to do that. One of the things that I used to do in Los Angeles, and I still do every now and then, is tell girls that I was going to go to Pink Taco, which is a Hollywood location and somewhat bougie. And in fact, I would take them across the street to my favorite taco restaurant, which is Pinch's Tacos. Pinch's Tacos has arguably much better food, but it is a rinky-dink establishment. I would do this sort of confusion to see how the person would react to that. If they're super shallow and they're like, oh, what the fuck? We're going to Pinch's Tacos? Like, this place is terrible. I got ready for Pink Taco. Then maybe that person is not for you. Now, if you don't mind having a materialistic partner who exclusively cares about how much money you make, then, disregard everything I've said. But no matter how much money you do actually end up making, you should still probably, and this is my perspective, you should still probably look for an individual who likes you as a human being and not for how much money you make or for what you look like even. But, physical attraction is still important. Maybe that's because I'm shallow, but physical attraction is still important in assessing whether a partner is going to, whether you're going to want to have sex with your partner or not. And sex is very important, and we haven't gotten to that point yet. Let's go to point number 4. Don't spend a lot of money on individuals ever. Don't fucking go out of your way to buy someone a drink, or don't go out of your way to take someone out on an expensive date, as I mentioned before, because this sets up the assumption that you're willing to pay for their time. You're not willing to pay for their time. This is mutual. This is built upon the foundation of mutual aid. You and the other person are interested in one another as human beings. I don't even like using this to break through that social barrier when you're afraid to talk to someone, because it's not great. It's just you're starting off the relationship on the wrong foot. I don't split the bill personally, but you can do that if you want. But I still get very Turkish and traditionally masculine when it comes to the bill. I usually like spending the money. Not because I need to show them that I'm like spending the money and I'm a big baller or whatever, but I do sometimes assume that more traditional role of caretaker, I guess, which is again, I guess antithetical to being a leftist or whatever. But that's my perspective, and it's outdated, and I don't give a shit. Where was I? Okay. I never buy a drink as an entry point, since you're essentially saying I'm desperate to get your attention. Instead, go up to them and say, hey, what's up? I'm Hassan. What's your name? It's that easy. I know it sounds stupid, but regardless of how terrified or how sweaty you are at that point, it's the best way to fucking introduce yourself, okay? Anyway. Mark Confidant said, what you're talking about with the expensive date stuff is essentially saying that the date shouldn't be an impressive event to make them interact with you. They should be wanting to hang out with you because you're worth hanging out with. If you come to the interactions with the assumption they should want to spend time with me and act as though it's true, they'll treat you like that as well. Exactly. No beta bucks for the incels, okay? Don't be a fucking beta. Don't be spending those beta bucks on e-girls or whatever the fuck incels say. Okay. Rule number 5. This is complete nonsense. Okay. If they want to be with you and around you, they will do everything they possibly can to be around you and be with you. They will respond to your text messages, so don't force things. This is very important. This goes back to rule number 1 as well. This is why you have multiple options always. Okay? Are you a psychologist? How much personal experience do you have in professional setting guiding relationships? I'm not. And I've never said that I am a professional. You can follow this advice and see if it works for you. And if you think that I need to be a professional psychologist, then you can go listen to fucking Jordan Peterson. Okay, how about that? Anyway, where was I? These rules are terrible. Oh man, first time I've heard that. Definitely didn't hear that last time. Okay, let's get back to it. If they want to be with you and around you, they'll do everything they can. This is very important. Like the principle of forcing things is a recipe for failure in building successful and healthy relationships. If you're conning the person or manipulating the person into hanging out with you, then they're going out on a date maybe to fucking pity you. Do you really value yourself? Do you have such low self-esteem that you would go on a date with someone who would be going on a date exclusively out of pity? Now, I know a lot of people in the chat are going to start memeing and say, yes, shut the fuck up. You value yourself more. It's very important, okay? No, stop. Everybody stop saying yes. Oh my God, this fucking triggers me so much. I hate it when, I hate it because like it's a self-defeating prophecy where if you devalue yourself, the entire conversation that I'm trying to get to here is that you have to value yourself. You have to value your personal space. You have to value your personal time, and you have to show them that you value that so that they respect you. Okay. And this goes for the women who are trying to seduce men, and it goes for the men who are trying to seduce women. Anyway. You can't love anyone if you don't love yourself. That's not true. I hate myself, and I love plenty of people, especially Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa, if you're listening to this, I love you. All right, back to the story. Okay. Didn't you say practice talking to women? I did say that, yes. Pokemon is in LA now. Pokemon, disregard everything I said about Dua Lipa. I love you more. Okay. Where were we? Let's keep going. If it means, okay, so everyone has their own threshold, but for me, if she's rescheduling for the third time, it's usually a wrap for me. It means you fucking move on, and she doesn't value your time as much as you value your own time, so move on. And then maybe at a later date, you can come back to it in due time. But like I said, you shouldn't get too hung up on people who are keeping you in the quote unquote friend zone. It just means that they're not sexually attracted to you for the most part, or it means that they are not willing to give you a shot, I guess. But you shouldn't be going after people who are not willing to give you a shot regardless, okay? So don't do it. It means that she thinks that if there's something better she could be doing with her time, which means she doesn't value your time. She thinks that there's a better things that she could be doing elsewhere when they flake on you. So you don't need to be around a person who thinks that there are better things that they can do than to meet you. You're a fucking awesome person. You need to constantly remind yourself of this fact if you have a hard time coming to terms with that. Okay, an opportunity may come around at a later date when you have nothing going on, but don't forget that if you're not responding and they're not making an effort to meet up with you again, you should move on to the next person. And this goes back to rule number 1. Talk to as many people as you possibly can. Number 6 is don't force it. Stop saying, fuck this ghosting bitch. She obviously wasn't the right girl for you. Don't be overzealous. Don't be entitled. And don't try to manipulate girls into having sex with you. Obviously, again, these are all very important things that it bears repeating for some fucking weird reason. But, don't get toxic. Don't get upset and annoyed. No one is entitled to... you're not entitled to anyone else's time, and no one is entitled to your time. So the same kind of advice that I give you about your self-worth, acknowledge that the other person has about their self-worth. So, if she flakes on you 5 times, then what's the point, really? The other person clearly doesn't treat you with the respect you deserve, and you're their fallback plan, at which point it's not going to be successful anyway. If you want to have sex with this person, it's not going to be successful. You're not going to get pity sex. Like, that shit never fucking happens. I guess it happens in Hollywood or whatever, but... Destiny mentioned... Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. Anyway... where was I? It's not fruitful. It's not a fruitful endeavor, or it's not a good connection at all. If you're trying to win someone over, you're not going to win someone over. Hollywood constantly tells you that you can win someone over, and all of those stories make a lot of money because they're just that. They're stories, okay? So you need to stop with that bullshit. Now, this doesn't mean that that dynamic might not change, because I know at this point a lot of people will get into the chat and say, well, that's not true. I met my girlfriend because I convinced her to have sex with me, and my dick was massive, and she fell in love with me as soon as she saw it, or whatever the fuck. That stuff is really stupid. And if it happened to a person, if it happened to one person, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen to every single person. It's not. I don't know what else to say about that. Okay. The reason why I was mentioning that is because some people will say, I don't want to date, I just want to fuck. Okay. Especially a lot of incels would say shit like that. They're not going to fuck you either, dude. It's very, very, very unlikely. Wow, a privileged chat talks about easy sex. Oops, sorry. Should have went back to the point in time when I wasn't a fucking privileged Chad, where I wasn't famous, or I wasn't an e-celebrity, and I certainly wasn't an attractive man with 15% body fat, okay? So, no. It doesn't work that way. These are absolutely skills that you can use regardless of what you look like. Nothing that I'm telling you is beyond reason. Okay. Number 7, and this is key again, use a vibrator. Once you actually get to the point where where the other person is allowing you to have sex with them, then holy shit, you best fucking perform. And one of the most important dynamics of performance is to understand what your partner needs and what your partner wants. Everyone is different. I've had sex with hundreds of women, and I have no idea what the latest girl that I'm going to hook up with is going to want or need. Now, there are certain things that you can always do. One of them would be I highly recommend is learn how to go down on women or men if you're dating men, because that's really important. That's a very good way of gearing up to and also learn the importance of building up that tension, because that's really important as well. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, use a vibrator. Get a vibrator. Buy a vibrator. If you're a guy, buy a vibrator. If you're a girl, definitely buy yourself a vibrator. It's very important. This is something that, for some weird reason in America, because of our fucking puritanical nature, we don't teach women to immediately own a vibrator and like learn what to do with their own bodies. What if you're uncomfortable with oral sex? Get comfortable with oral sex. I don't know why you would be uncomfortable with oral sex. I mean, if your partner is uncomfortable with oral sex, that's an entirely different story. And you know, you have to communicate through that, because everyone loves oral sex. Really, holy shit, dude. Anyway. Doesn't a vibrator make you less sensitive? No, it doesn't. That's a fucking bullshit lie. Even the most powerful vibrators like the Hitachi Magic Wand, which I have and I recommend, it's more advanced. Don't do it if you're not ready for it yet. Will rarely ever cause a loss of sense. Okay. Yeah, some women perform missionary above all sex. Yes. I trust me, I know. I know that. Okay. I'm petting my doggo right now. How much maca are you meant to have a day? I don't really use maca anymore. All right, let's keep going with the vibrator. So in my experience with the girls I was with, when I would whip out a vibrator, they would be like, this is fucking dope, okay? This is very important. Like, no one is ever, don't be fucking insecure. Don't be that classic insecure little boy, little baby who's like, oh, she loves a vibrator. That means she doesn't love your dick, bro. Understand the difference between a G-spot stimulation and clitoral stimulation, okay? Clitoral stimulation is the overwhelming majority of orgasms that women have when they do actually end up having an orgasm. This is a conversation that you could be having with female friends, which is going to lead to the bonus point, which is have female friends or have members of the opposite sex as friends that you don't have sex with, that you're just fucking friends with. I know that sounds really crazy, but it's definitely a good thing to have female friends, because you can ask them for advice and you know, find out that, holy shit, members of the opposite sex have the same interests that I do. I know that this is shocking, but it bears repeating on a fucking Twitch chat 100%. Okay. Imagine having friends, lol. Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it? I would have lost my penis in the past 2 weeks and I haven't had sex, so I still have it, so no. Yeah, clitoral stimulation is important when you actually end up getting to the point. Okay, where was I? It's going to make it much easier for you. You're actually going to make a person come for the first time ever, probably, since they're not faking it. Suggest using vibrators to your female friends, to everyone around you. Everyone should have a vibrator. I highly recommend it. I am beating my dog. He loves it. He loves getting slapped in the ass. None of them have asked you why you have a vibrator. Yeah, some people ask me, and I'm like, why? Because it makes sex better for you. Call Peter right now. Go ahead, bitch. Call the cops. So people have also asked me how to talk to people, and I said dating apps are good and useful. And never forget, don't be a fucking toxic idiot, okay? Don't be toxic. Don't be a fucking moron. Understand that the other person is probably bored with your shit, even if they are being, even if they're not giving you the response that is worthy of your person, that still doesn't change the reality that they're probably getting inundated with requests and they're probably annoyed and they're probably misreading your advances or whatever. Just fucking chill. Like don't get annoyed. Just move on. Just move the fuck on. So no, dating apps aren't literally only good if you're hot. That's not true at all. The best example I can give you about why that's not fucking true at all is my brother is not the most attractive person on the planet, but he fucking pipes it up on dating apps. He has a healthy relationship now with a girlfriend that he met on a dating app, if I'm not mistaken. So everybody shut the fuck up, okay? Anyway. And if you're having a significantly hard time on dating apps, it's probably because you're only going for the same kinds of people that are not going for you because of the same fucking shallow reasons. Give other people an opportunity. Go out and talk to them. Maybe they're fucking awesome, okay? Not everyone has to look like Dua Lipa, but also, Dua Lipa, I love you. Please respond back to my DMs. Why won't you respond to me? I've said I've loved you. I know you have a boyfriend, Dua Lipa. God damn it. Same for Pokemon as well. Do you use a different vibrator on different women? No, I use the same one. I clean it. I showed you my hog. What the fuck? If we... Pokey is live and single. Hit her up. Where was I? I think a lot of incels under... Madam, the feet. I need them, please. Okay. Where were we? All right, so dating apps are good. Engage with people in your vicinity. You don't have to go fucking crazy, but dating apps are good for texting and stuff like that. Look at things like By Felipe, okay? Look at Instagram accounts like By Felipe and never do anything you see on those Instagram accounts. Because I'm sure all of you motherfuckers at some point have written some toxic ass bullshit to a girl who like you thought led you on, but then decided otherwise, decided that they didn't want to fuck you or whatever. Like that doesn't mean that they have to fuck you. There's no point in time where anyone has to fuck you. I can't stress this enough. I understand that it might feel like you've put in a significant amount of work and you've worked so hard and you want the coochie. You really want it really, really bad. And like, come on, why can't I get it? I've worked so hard for it. It doesn't matter. You don't own that person's body. Okay? This isn't fucking Ancapistan. There's no consensual slavery. Okay? Total projecting Omega lol. Yeah, no, I get it. Like I've been there. I've felt shitty after like talking to a girl or spending time and like going on a date, but I understand that it doesn't matter. They don't have to have sex with me. They don't owe me anything, okay? Anyway, there are common topics that you can talk about. My concept is, look, there are things that everyone loves, okay? No matter what. If you fucking breathe, you like food, you like animals, you probably like anime. Don't do it if you're a weeb, though, because weebs get fucking annoying and weebs get the wall sometimes. Don't talk about capitalism or communism or whatever the fuck. That's like for advanced levels. You can talk about movies, Netflix, common shared experiences. Always look for common shared experiences that other people will most likely also have. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because, again, this is all about just advancing the conversation, because people let out subtle hints of their personality without realizing when they're having an extended conversation. So the goal is to have an extended conversation and get the other side to know you. Always do normie shit, okay? Don't go in with fucking edgy gotchi bass memes, because no one is going to understand that. No one is going to think that's fucking funny unless you found a unicorn who, male or female, is interested in the same kind of fucking favorite Twitch streamer that you like listening to, that talks a little bit too much about communism apparently, and that's why XQC thinks communism is bad now, and I'm very sad, but it's okay. We're going to get back to this issue at hand. XQC, please respond to my DMs. I don't only like to talk about communism. Okay. Normie shit is very important. Everyone, like, talk about fucking Bird Box or whatever. You don't even have to fucking talk about the actual movie. Just be like, what's up with Bird Box? Why are there so many memes about Bird Box? Like, I don't fucking understand it, dude. What's up with Sandra Bullock? Just doesn't matter. Boom. It's over. Talk to the other person. They're gonna come up with something. They're also confused, and they're also trying to impress you in some way because they've already admitted to going on a date with you. So, like, obviously, it's a mutual situation. Anyway. Don't show them your memes. No matter what, do not show them your fucking memes. Hide the memes every single time, please. For the love of Christ. Never show the memes. Terrible decision. Terrible decision. So you're saying be fake. What the fuck? I thought you had self-worth. Oh my god, dude. No, everyone is fucking fake in the beginning. Everyone tries to hide the really significant baggage. That's what both parties are doing. You're putting on your best self. You don't go in to a fucking first date looking like dog shit when you probably look like dog shit 98% of the time, okay? There's a reason for that. Is that being fake? No, that's not being fake. You're being presentable. You're putting on your best face. This is what both parties do, and it is something that you should be doing as well if you're not doing. Okay. The whole point is that, like, you do the normie shit. It's the entry point until the other person is comfortable around you, and then you can actually get the more specific things that you like or more specific things that they might like and your opinions on them. That's the point when the other person is comfortable around you. That's when you can show the memes. But usually, don't show the memes for the most part. I don't think anyone would like that. Okay. The bonus round here was I said, don't fuck your ex. There's a reason why they're your ex. And then the rule is always masturbate. Rub one out and figure out if it'd be a bad idea to fuck them post-nut. Then if it still doesn't seem like a bad idea, maybe fuck your ex is what Mark said. I don't agree with that. Don't fuck your ex regardless. And also, always jerk off before making these important decisions, okay?